Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Coming up this week, Disney is adding police on horseback to Disney Springs after a recent incident. Disney CEO Bob Iger confirms that a new Indiana Jones movie is in the works. Disney is also testing out paid parking at the resorts, and our own Steve Porter has some opinions to share with us on that. And we've also launched a new daily feature on the Diz called The Daily Fix. We'll tell you more about that. And we'll tell you what came in as the #1 thread on disboards.com for 2015. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 867 for the week of January 5th, 2016. Diz Unplugged.
You just looked, didn't you?
The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
You didn't notice it before, did you?
Welcome. Welcome to the show, everyone. For those of you watching live, welcome back. It's been an interesting afternoon. We had some technical issues before, but it is great to be with you. It's great to be back in the studio. Coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hi, everybody.
Michael Bowling.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Corey Martin.
I'm just happy for the new year.
Back in the production nook, our associate producer, Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
Along with our intern, Steve Porter.
Hello.
And up from the grave he arose, the lovely and talented producer, Craig Williams.
Did we install an
Not so
elevator back there?
Yeah, I don't think so talented today, but
He thinks he's Beyonce.
Craig is...
He needs a fan coming up out of the floor, blowing his hair.
Craig's having a rough day today. Craig's having a rough day.
having fun.
Again, welcome to the show, everyone. It is great to be back. Hoping you all had a great holiday and New Year. I know I did. I think everybody here did. So I have some things in housekeeping. I just can't feign the excitement from the first time I did this, 10 minutes ago. I'm just like, I'm glad you're here. Now, what's next? In housekeeping, just want to let everyone know that we are only broadcasting live now on YouTube. We are no longer using either live stream or Mixler. So if you want to watch us live, of course, you can always go to disunplugged.com or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WDWinfo, right?
What's that? Yes.
Yeah. Stay with me, Corey.
I'm watching chat right now, see if there's no issues.
5 minutes into the show. youtube.com/WDWinfo. You can watch us live there as well. As I mentioned in the intro, we have a new daily feature that is going up every weekday at noon called The Daily Fix. And you can check that out at wdwinfo.com/dailyfix. And this is basically, 2 to 3 minute overview of what's happening that day in the world of Disney as far as anything pertinent for trip planning, anything going on the boards, anything that we're seeing on other websites that we think is noteworthy, and just a way for you to kind of stay in touch with what's happening during the week. And that went up, that started yesterday, and every day at noon or thereabouts, we'll be putting these up Monday through Friday. We're not doing it Saturday and Sunday because that would be too much. As it is, it's already been interesting getting these done, but it's a lot of fun. So the Daily Fix, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern Time, wdwinfo.com/dailyfix. And want to make sure we plug the other shows in the Diz Unplugged universe. Every Monday, of course, the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged with host Tom Bell, and of course, the lovely and talented Michael Bowling. And in this week's show, Tony Spatel reviews the new lunch menu at Catal at Downtown Disney. They've also changed their live broadcasting time. They are now broadcasting live Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Mixler.com. That's Mixlr.com. Of course, the show still goes up on iTunes every Monday. New show to our lineup every Monday, the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast with John Magi, Kevin Close, and assorted other people. And the first one went up yesterday. And it's doing very well.
Getting very good feedback. We're very excited about it.
So this is a show that just kind of talks about dreams and what we sell and what's trending in travel. And so the first episode that we put up yesterday is just basically kind of giving people an overview of dreams and what's coming up next week.
Next week, we're going to be doing our review of Harmony of the Seas, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines.
Or the Anthem.
Anthem of the Seas. I don't know what's coming up.
They're all great.
They're great ships. You should go on one. We did a bunch
Better than cats.
bunch of us had a chance to do a special pre-inaugural sailing of the Anthem, and we had a really good time. So it's our
the
take
Harmony?
on that. Oh my God.
Leave them alone.
Actually, it was Kevin, myself, Corey, and Tracy Heinrichs. So we're all going to give you a review of that experience.
Excellent. All right, so that's you can find that every Monday. YouTube.com/Dreams Unlimited Travel. Is that the URL we're using for it?
Corey doesn't know anything.
I'm looking at my tech team here for something. Yes?
There's still flickering going on, so we're kind of...
We're having...
But yeah, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Yeah, that's the...
So just keep going? Just keep going. Okay. We're going to power through here.
All right, I'll stop looking at it.
Yeah, just close your screen so I'm not distracted by it because I can see it. It's driving me nuts. So every Monday, Dreams Unlimited Travel, you're going to find links to all this stuff. And I apologize, folks, for the disjointed nature of our show this morning. But
This is only our 10th year, so you'll have to forgive us.
Yeah, really.
Being able to do it properly.
You'll find links to this and everything that we talk about on the show, disunplug.com. You'll find all our show notes there. Of course, every Wednesday, The Trip with Jenny Lynn Knopp, Teresa Eccles, and their newest member of the team, Jackie Gailey. And this week, they are going to be talking about Magical Express. Thursday, of course, the Universal edition of the Dis Unplugged with Craig Williams, Rhino Clavin, and Jenny Lynn Knopp. And what are you talking about this week, Craig?
We are doing a dining review of Mythos at Islands of Adventure.
Oh, okay. I'm interested to hear that. Because last time I was there, it
I was
sucked.
just going to say, I'm surprised that's still around, to be honest with you.
Yeah, remember when that was supposed to be the only 5-star restaurant inside a theme park?
Yeah.
And
It's
it
a
was-
beautiful restaurant.
It's
though.
gorgeous, but yeah.
The food's not.
That is true. Or hasn't been, let's put it that way.
Okay, what the hell is that?
Neighbors.
Oh, the neighbors are on the lawn again?
They have a drone.
It's just that day. It's just that kind of day, guys. Just that kind of day. And of course, this Friday and each Friday through the month of January, the very popular return of Connecting with Walt with Michael Bowling and Craig Williams. And Michael, we're so happy to have you in the studio.
Thank you. It's great to be back here at the Dis Vatican.
So tell me about what we can expect this month in Connecting with Walt.
We have a lot of exciting things coming up, a few surprises. This Friday, it's episode 6, Walt and Roy, a lifetime partnership. Without Roy, we may never have known Walt. And as Walt dreamed and planned all of his amazing accomplishments, visions, and all that, Roy quietly made those dreams a reality. And so in Friday's episode, we're going to examine the brothers' somewhat turbulent devotion, who together built an empire. And then on January 15th, episode 7 is titled Pursuing the Dream Without the Dreamer. So we're going to examine how Walt Disney's passing in December 1966 impacted the creative course of the entire Disney World project. The company's new management team was relatively unfamiliar with WED Enterprises, which had been Walt's private company. Under the leadership of his brother, Roy O. Disney, the company wrestled with Walt's ideas for Epcot as they attempted to move forward with Walt's vision. On January 22nd, episode 8 is titled Up the Creek. And passing the legislation to form the Reedy Creek Improvement District was critical to Walt Disney Productions' ability to build Project Florida as the way Walt envisioned it. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the hurdles the company conquered to pass this legislation and explain the importance for the construction of Walt Disney World. So when you talk about the Reedy Creek Improvement District, everybody's going to know now what that means. And January 29th we're going to do something new. In episode 9, Designing a Whole New World, we're going to have our first guest on Connecting with Walt. David Younger, author of Theme Park Design and the Art of Themed Entertainment, is going to talk to us about the science and art of designing a theme park. We're going to get into why Disneyland is considered the first theme park, not Knott's Berry Farm as they claim. The different approaches the Imagineers had to take in designing the Magic Kingdom, and then in designing their first non-castle park, Epcot. And he's also going to share his advice for those who dream of becoming a theme park designer. And that's going to be our introduction to the construction of the Magic Kingdom that we're going to examine in April.
Awesome. Yeah, so just so everyone understands, these are, we do these episodes for every quarter. So we did them in October. We had 5 episodes go up in October. We have 4 episodes going up this month, and then again in April. So be sure to tune in for that this Friday. Again, you'll find links to unplugged.com, and of course can find them on our iTunes feed. So if you're already getting this show on your iPhone or your iPod or your device of any flavor, you'll be getting Connecting with Walt with Michael Bowling and Craig Williams this Friday.
I think we should have a challenge for Michael. I think he should be able to have to do his shows without using the words dream, magic, or vision.
I'll have to try to do that, yeah.
And he has to work the word hula hoop into every
Instead of
episode.
those words, he has to substitute hula hoop.
Walt had a hula hoop.
Or it could be a drinking game. Every time I say dream.
Oh, then our audience would be in rehab by
We
the
should
end
have
of the
to do
first
it as
episode.
a count from Sesame Street.
Aren't you glad you came, Michael? We're full of good ideas, aren't we?
I'll have to have you as the next guest on the show.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else in housekeeping?
Oh, yes. I want to wish my awesome little dude, Ferris, a happy birthday. He is 7 years old today.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's not possible.
It seems
know,
like
right?
it was just yesterday that we announced on the show that Julie was pregnant. So
Yeah.
if you were listening then, you've been listening for about 8 years now.
Well,
That's a long time.
That should be your tagline.
You've been listening for 8 years now.
so awesome. Well, happy birthday, Ferris. Anything else?
I do. Carol and I went to Candlelight Processional when we were back here for Disneypalooza, and we saw Joe Morton. I guess he's on Scandal. I've never seen it, but Carol has. He was very good. But the interesting thing is that we got a survey about Candlelight, and I think it may have given a little insight into what Disney might be thinking about for the Candlelight dining packages. It started out very innocuous. Did you like the food? There were questions about the specific dining experience. How long did we wait in line? Things like that. Did we like where we were seated? And then it went and talked about the future performances. Would our overall guest experience be improved if assigned seating were provided with the package? And then they asked to rate and explain. If assigned seating were provided, should it be assigned at the time of booking your dining reservation? And because it said currently we are not charged for dining package at the time of the reservation. And then also, should assigned seating be provided based on the restaurant that you're dining in?
Are you kidding me?
Which leads us to believe it's sort of like Disneyland's Fantasmic packages or World of Color packages, where if you're at the, like Carthay Circle, or eating at Blue Bayou, you're in a better location.
So if you eat at Nine Dragons, you're seated in Norway.
Yes, behind the construction wall, and then And then, or should assigned seating be provided on the day of the performance through My Disney Experience? So, and then again, there were a lot of questions about the arrangement of the seating. What they provided a seating chart, and then you had to rate what you thought was most desirable, what locations were most
there's no
desirable.
question they're going to this.
Yeah, and what would be undesirable? What if you were seated in certain locations? Would those locations prevent you from enjoying the performance? So anyway, so it took about 15 minutes to complete, but I think it's just interesting that they may be considering some changes to the candlelight dining package.
I think they've already decided they're going to change it. They're just trying to gauge response and what seats are going to be premium seats and
That
which seats
standby
are.
line's going to, I bet that standby line disappears, or far fewer people get in.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you assign a seat on a bench?
Oh, they do that in like professional
stadiums,
arenas,
too, yeah.
stadiums. They do.
There's a little
See,
number
none of
on
the
it.
football stadiums I
Yeah.
go to have that.
Well, interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us,
you're
Michael. I
welcome.
think that's very interesting. We'll know come. When do they usually release the candlelight?
June.
So we'll know in June. I would expect if they're asking those kind of questions that we're going to see prepayment of the packages and assigned seating
And an increase in price.
and an
Yes.
increase in price. Absolutely.
Due to guest demand.
Yep.
Due to guest demand. Exactly. All right. Anything else for housekeeping? Going once, going twice, and for the first time in 2016, here's Johnny with the news.
All right, our first news story. Panic at Disney Springs after false reports of gunshots. A fight broke out on Christmas night between patrons at Disney Springs Bongo's Cuban Cafe. At 9:24 p.m., a fight started on the second floor of the restaurant that resulted in loud noises and reports of shots being fired. Orange County deputies responded to the incident. Due to the reports of shots, crowds of people panicked and ran to get out of the area. One guest, Peter Vasquez, said, quote, "People started yelling, 'Gun, gun.' At that point, I didn't hear any shooting at all, but because people were running and I was with my 17-year-old daughter, I'm not taking any chances. At this point, I ran with the crowd. It was just like in the movies, you know. People were just running, falling." The deputies eventually determined the reports of shots were to be unfounded. One person has been arrested for disorderly conduct.
Now, this is, this is the story now. This is the story that, first of all, you have a populace that is on edge after some of the recent events, like the shooting in San Bernardino, some of the theater shootings that have been going on. Of course, what happened in Paris toward the end of last year, and then the introduction in December at the Magic Kingdom, or the theme parks in general, of metal detectors after that moron goes into the Magic Kingdom with a concealed weapon loaded with hollow point bullets. And I talked about this in the solo show. I'm not going to go into my feelings on guns because not the place. But this is what Disney has to do. And that you have people on edge with all of this stuff going on in the world. And then, unfortunately, a fight breaks out between people and there's an assumption that there's a gun somewhere. And now you have a mass panic, which ultimately leads to what's coming up in our second story.
We were home early New Year's Eve, and we were watching the New Year's Eve celebration and they showed all over the world. And I have to be honest, I sat there and the first thought in my mind was, I just hope it's peaceful everywhere.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
me too. But this does lead into our next news story.
All right, our second news story. Deputies to begin patrolling Disney Springs on horseback. The Walt Disney World is adding extra security to their theme parks, including officers on horseback at Disney Springs. A mounted patrol unit from the Orange County Sheriff's Office will begin their patrol this month, though it's not clear how often they will be patrolling. A Disney spokesperson said plans for the mounted patrol were already in place before the incident on Christmas night, where a fight broke out and people began to run, panicked that they heard gunshots. There are currently 63 sheriff's employees who patrol the Disney Resort as part of a $7.6 million yearly contract. 8 bicycle deputies have been added to patrol the new parking garages at Disney Springs as well. The mounted patrol will consist of 5 deputies and will not be an additional cost to Disney. The horses are currently used in other areas around Orange County. The sheriff's spokesman, Captain Angelo Neves, said, quote, "They're deployed depending on our needs," end quote, and that the mounted patrols allows the crowds and people to see that law enforcement has a presence. Neves said that the horses were used in the past at Disney, but stopped using them because of the manure. He said the sheriff's office will now provide special bags for catching it.
Which I think should be handed out to everyone.
Yeah.
We should
the
all
little
have ass bags.
With the little Mickey Mouse pooper scoopers.
I like how we all giggled at the word manure. Bunch of 12-year-olds. Disney is also changing their gun policies and making them stricter. Previously, guests with the proper licenses were allowed to check in their weapons with Disney security while they were in the theme parks. They will now be asked to leave and store them elsewhere. Disney said that this change is official, but declined to share details about the process. Dave Workman, spokesman for Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, wonders if the tightened gun policy is more about legalities than about safety. Workman said, quote, "It's possible they didn't want to take the responsibility or the liability for any lost firearm. I've never heard of another theme park that would be willing to store a firearm for somebody." As an additional security measure, Disney added metal detectors out in front of their theme parks last month, though not every guest is required to go through them. It's currently a random selection process. Disney spokeswoman Andrea Finger said, quote, "We have a comprehensive approach to security and continuously review our security procedures in collaboration with law enforcement."
Well, there are some people that are banging their chest, some we'll call them gun rights advocates, that are banging their chest that Disney is making any changes at all to their gun policy. So for those people, I would say this. It is private property. You know, the kind that certain people will, defend with firearms. It's private property. They have the right to determine what they want and who they want on their property. And I think this is just common sense. They don't want guns in their property anymore. Mainly because some idiot with an expired carry permit ran from security in the parks when he was spotted with a concealed weapon loaded with hollow point bullets where there are children. So, if we're not going to have any common sense gun laws in this country, maybe it is up to private enterprise like Disney to make some common sense policies that say, we don't want your damn guns in our park. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to do that, and there I went and did it.
This is something that's completely new to me. So what would happen is you would go up and say to the cast member,
I have a license
to carry.
I have a license to carry a gun, and I need to check because Disney didn't want them in the parks.
Can I please have a locker?
And now and they would check them somehow. I don't know what the process was. Now
Same thing
Disney
with
is
knives.
saying,
Yeah.
However, I would think though, it's not my thing, but I would think though, as the person who owns the gun, I wouldn't want to turn my gun over to Disney. You would think you would want to say, I want to put it where I want to put it, rather than giving it to somebody else.
well, now you don't have a choice.
It just seems like a really weird policy that in the past they would check your gun for you.
Well, I think they were afraid of
Right.
lobbies like the NRA saying they were hostile to gun owners. I wouldn't be surprised. Disney's always been very sensitive to public opinion like that, and certainly on a topic like guns. It's one of those hot button issues. There are very strong feelings on both sides. Disney doesn't want to get any more into that fray than they have to, but they're watching what's going on in the world. And they know that, you know what, if I've got to choose between a fight with the NRA and a bloodbath on Main Street, I'm going to fight the NRA. I'll have my fight with the NRA and their ilk. They can't risk this. They can't risk something happening. I'm surprised it took this long for metal detectors to show up at the theme parks. I am. I mean, Disney's always been safe, and I've always felt safe there. This time, they just had no choice. They had no choice with everything going on. And then, the straw that broke the camel's back was this guy from Miami.
Every time this conversation comes up about bag check, oh, it takes too long. Oh, it takes this. And invariably, every post on the boards, every conversation, somebody says, well, no one ever checks what's in my pockets.
Right, exactly.
True.
I mean, I wear cargo shorts. I carry everything I want in my cargo shorts, and no one ever checks. Well, guess what? Now you're going to go through
This
a
is their
metal
way
detector.
of checking without actually patting you down.
I wonder if Disney Springs is going to have official entrances now, where you have to go through bag check, and there's, I mean, maybe
It could be like at the parking garage entrance.
Well,
Yeah,
when it's complete,
Yeah.
I'm going to say most of the people are going to be funneled through that main entrance that they're building. That's the plan for Disney Springs.
and so they just put bag checks in there. You
I would
think?
assume they're going to put some kind of
I
bag
think so,
check
too.
up.
And they could easily do that for the buses, because everybody goes through one entrance and exit
Yep.
there. But
Absolutely.
the interesting thing about, I knew somebody who worked for Disneyland security, and years ago, and he noticed that right after Disneyland instituted the bag checks, they checked the bushes and everything routinely, around the park. They were finding knives hidden in the bushes before
Wow.
entering bag check. And which indicated to them that people had been routinely coming into the park with knives on them, and now they didn't want them found. The thing about the mounted police, because Carol and I grew up in San Francisco, where San Francisco PD has mounted police everywhere, especially downtown and in Golden Gate Park. And the town we live in, actually, there's a mounted police patrol. The main advantage I think they're doing this is because it gives the police vision over the crowds, so they can see what's going on and immediately call for the backup.
It
that
also
they
makes
need.
them much more visible.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's hard to take a police officer seriously on a Segway. It just is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't engender that vision of authority.
There was also a time when Disney did not want the image of security overwhelming, because
Right.
they didn't want people to think it was unsafe.
Well, there was even
But
a
it
point-
seems like they're moving in a direction now where they're saying, yes, we want you to see overwhelming security in our parks, in downtown or Disney Springs. We want you to see that image.
Well, don't you remember that they used to have the thing that no one ever died on Disney property?
Right. Well, they stopped that a long time ago.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that's a relic. But it was, they waited until the body was off property to pronounce them.
One of the things we saw was
Dead.
that New Year's Day or the day after New Year's, we were going through Disney property, and the amount of police cars.
Parked along the side of the
Kevin
road.
kept saying, I think something's wrong. And I said, no, this is just their way of showing that there's police here.
I mean, we're talking every 100 yards.
Yeah.
There was another cop car.
And when I came up to the Magic Kingdom the other day, where the buses park, that little turnaround, there were 4 sheriff's patrol cars there, and they were all canine unit cars. And then we saw them patrolling outside and inside the
I
park.
wonder if that makes people feel more or less safe. Does the presence of police officers make people think, well, now I'm safe? Or does it think, boy, something's going to happen?
Well, driving through the park, you just said it. I saw all that police activity, and I thought, what's wrong?
I mean, I think of Bourbon Street, like during Mardi Gras, it's so packed, and the way they clear it is with police on horseback. And there is this sense of authority that, okay, I'm getting out the way. And it lets them get down the street faster. I mean, you're talking shoulder to shoulder, crowds here, but it's, no telling. Disney Springs might be that way too, once it's completed.
True. All right, our third news story. Disney CEO Bob Iger confirms plans for new Indiana Jones film. A new Indiana Jones movie has been pretty strongly rumored for a while, but Disney CEO Bob Iger has now confirmed that Indiana Jones 5 will be made. In an interview with Bloomberg News, Iger said, quote, with George Lucas's Star Wars and Indiana Jones, by the way, which is coming, we have more great stories. Steven Spielberg hinted in early 2015 that he would work on the film and that Harrison Ford would star once again. There have been many rumors swirling that Chris Pratt would play a younger Indy. In one interview, Spielberg said, quote, I'm hoping one day to make an Indiana Jones 5. I would hope to make it before Harrison Ford is 80 and much older.
And he gets much older.
Yes. And I get much older. Right. Sorry. You're right. Harrison Ford apparently has proven that he can still do what he can do, even at his age. So
I would, just the things that Harrison Ford has said in the run up to the Star Wars film, and of course after about, this was a one and done deal for me. He's like over this. He doesn't need the money, especially after Star Wars, because what I understand was he had a deal to appear in this film where he got to take the opening box office. They said he made something like $50 million in its opening week on this. So he's, if he's going to be in it, if he's going to headline, star in this movie or be a part of this movie, Disney's going to have to back another Brinks truck up to his house.
No. See, I read something a long time ago when The Force Awakens was getting made. He didn't want to be in it. He was the only one. And they said, well, we know you want to do another Indiana Jones movie. And the only way that'll happen is if you do this movie.
Oh, really?
So he was strong-armed into being in this movie.
But I'm sure he's going to get he's going to get a big payday on Indiana Jones as well.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, he made double-digit times more than everyone else, every single other actor in this movie.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like, I'm sure they're going to dump truck it again.
He's also a much, much bigger star than Carrie Fisher or Mark Hamill. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's Oscar caliber.
I hope they bring the glass-headed aliens back.
So no, I'm excited. I'm excited that they're going to do Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones and the AARP.
Yeah, exactly. I just wonder if George Lucas will be as bitter about that as he is about Star Wars.
Poor George Lucas.
Did you watch the Kennedy Center honors?
I didn't watch it, no, but I heard what he said on the red carpet. They asked at the Kennedy Center honors. They asked him about what he thought of, and this is before the Charlie Rose interview. They asked him what he thought of the new Star Wars, and he goes, "The fans are going to love it. It seems to be what it is they're looking for." And then on the interview with Charlie Rose, he referred to Disney as white slavers that basically ruined his ideas with this film, which is now he's walking it back and apologizing that he used that phrase to describe Disney. But dude, you got $4 billion.
Just gonna say, it's really sad. He only got $4 billion.
Yeah.
I just read the other day it's $20 million away from beating Avatar.
Wait, Kevin, that's my thing.
Oh, sorry.
And now to Rhino. Sorry.
But no,
That's my thing. What the hell was
I
that?
touched his thing.
that was the whiny 12-year-old girl coming out.
That's really. That's my thing.
No wonder they like you.
Yeah. I
So-
feel bad for him.
All right.
Rhino?
One other thing I want to discuss. Steve Porter wrote an article on the Diz about Disney testing out paid parking at the resorts for non-resort guests. For day guests.
Yep.
And you pissed off a lot of people.
I did. A lot of people are upset.
Did you make the policy?
Was it the word nonsensical?
Yeah, the nonsensical. Maybe that was the word that they didn't like. But no, I basically argued that I don't like this new policy if it comes into effect. I know they're just testing it as of right now. They tested it at Contemporary, and Boardwalk is next. But it looks like they're going to charge people to park at the resorts if you don't have an ADR or if you aren't a resort guest. So obviously they wouldn't be charged. But I think I know why Disney did it is there's lots of guests that come and they say, oh, I'm getting a Dole Whip. And then they just park at the Polynesian for free. And then they just take the monorail to Magic Kingdom. And so they're escaping $20 from paid parking. But I think it's a bad policy. I think there should be another solution. It's not that Disney is doing the wrong thing in charging people, but you should be able to validate if you have a receipt from Trader Sam's and get back your $20 if you spent more than $20 at a restaurant that you didn't have a ADR at, or if you went to...
That's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, you went to Porter's Corners and you spent $50 on clothes. You shouldn't have to then pay $20
To park there
to
and do
park
it.
there.
Same thing with bars, because you might want to go to like Big River and just drink and not eat.
Yeah.
But you spend money there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so... I just think...
You shouldn't be driving anyway.
Well, I mean, you still maybe somebody's driving. Maybe you have a designated like Julie.
Well, I also think they didn't really take annual pass holders into consideration. I'm not gonna
Or Uber.
I'm not gonna go as an annual pass holder. Yeah, I can park for free at the Magic Kingdom, but and I'm not saying I'm never going to go to Trader Sam's again. Of course I am. But I'm going to go there a lot less because now it's a little bit more of a hassle to take. I got to take
Well,
the monorail or-
honestly, a lot of, if I go park at Portofino Bay to go eat at Mama Della's, I get my parking validated. If I park at Portofino Bay to go eat at, Sal's Deli, I get my parking validated. So if they don't institute a policy along those lines, they're just stupid.
Yeah.
So what were people upset about? This seems very reasonable.
They were just upset saying, well, Disney has to do this because people are cheating the system.
Well,
They're the
a
ones
lot-
that
a
were
lot of-
upset about mugs, too.
But a lot of it came from resort guests saying, "Look, we show up and we have no place to park," and they see like after illuminations, the parking lots around the boardwalk and beach club are just they're emptying and they're just now there's all these spots at 12:30. It's obviously these people weren't there.
Yeah.
To eat.
It's a
They
lot.
were there for Epcot.
It's a logical move by Disney
yeah.
because they have a finite amount of space.
Right.
And if they want to make sure it's for their resort guests or their dining guests, that's fine. But I agree with you. Make some kind of system that says Trader Sam's validates or something that's validates.
Well, especially when,
Stores, too.
especially when Disney needs to appeal for, maybe not so much in the theme parks, but at dining at the resorts, at the shopping locations and things like that in the resorts, they need to appeal to locals.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's a policy, if they go with what they're doing right now, where there is no validation, it's a policy that's going to be considered very hostile to locals, and that's one problem they don't need, because locals already kind of have a bad taste in their mouth where Disney is concerned.
It's like I'll take like my mom, or like whenever she comes down, I try and take her to like a new resort, and I'll just be like, let's look around. Yeah. Maybe there's a place here that she might want to eat because she doesn't know. She's and so she's ended up staying at a lot of resorts because that's what we'll do every time. We kind of go check out a new one, and it kind of alienates people from that.
Yeah, I think it kind of is slowly killing resort hopping, which I think is actually a long-term really good thing for Disney, is that people can test out, they can go visit a lobby of a hotel that they've never been to, or 3 or 4 lobbies that they've never been to, but I'm not going to pay $60 to park at 3 different...
Right.
I think if you paid once, you'd probably
just
get
it for the day, yeah.
Even if you park it...
With valet, they do that.
Or at the Magic Kingdom, they put a thing on your dashboard.
Okay.
But we went to Point Orlando recently. I haven't been there in a long time, but you got a parking ticket. And because we went to the movies, it was validated.
Right.
And then because we went to lunch, it was validated. So parking was free for people who were actually shopping there. Right. If you went and parked and didn't spend a dime, you paid.
But what about what about Christmas time? I guess you have to determine, is going to see the gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian worth $20?
That's the point I was going to make, is that their resorts are doing this thing that's supposed to attract people to them, like decorations or new stores or things like that. Then, that defeats the purpose of that.
Yeah, but now what you're saying is that this is a policy that is only for guests of that resort. So if you're staying at the boardwalk and want to go to the Grand Floridian under this policy, you pay to park?
I am not 100%, but I believe so, because it's just I think it's just resort guests at that resort that it's
I can't believe they would do that. I just can't.
Why wouldn't you just take your thing out of your window?
Well, right now we should let everybody know this is
speculation.
This is just a test. They're testing it at which resorts? The Contemporary and the Boardwalk.
And Boardwalk's next. I also think there's a huge loophole that could create lots of ADR problems, in that it's $10 to cancel an ADR. And I'm assuming going to be $20 to park, because they're going to make it the same as parking at the TTC. So it seems like you could just get an ADR, get past the
$10
guy.
per person? Or is
It's $10 per person. So
per person. Okay.
Yeah, but I would just say, the reservation's for me. Here's my reservation.
I see what you're saying.
And then get past parking, cancel your reservation. It's only $10 rather than $20.
Then we'll probably see ADRs go to 22.
It's just gonna. But
I understand the Contemporary. The Contemporary has the only parking lot really within walking distance of the park.
yeah,
And
My
the
opinion-
Boardwalk, I mean,
I would
Boardwalk, you
and
take
Beach
surprised
Club.
that yacht and beach, right? But go ahead. I know what you're saying.
what I'm saying is I can understand where those would be the most affected.
yeah, yeah. I feel like at like a value resort, that would be.
It's just a shame because those seem like the resorts too that they are designed to pull people in after the park. Like it's Trader Sam's. You're done with the park. Come on over here, get a drink. You know, let's go to have drinks at the thing up on top of the Contemporary, or you know. So it's kind of. It just adds an extra step to an already.
It's going to be a lot because you know you look at these marinas. Sometimes you just want to go grab a mouse boat.
Yeah.
And you don't make reservations for that.
Yeah, right.
You just walk up and you grab it, but we'll see.
We'll see. Steve, do me a favor.
Yeah.
I need you to run into my office and grab my iPad off my desk.
Okay.
Thanks. Sorry. All right, so that is going to do it for the news. We will move on to rapid fire, and we'll start with you, John.
All right, I wanted to talk about, there's a couple of package deals out now for Walt Disney World. There's a kid-sized package and a family package, and there's also a spring offer that's out there as well. I was curious about what our agents were finding as far as discounts, and are these packages really good? Are they any kind of savings off of a regular discount or Disney Visa or annual pass holder? And basically what I found, what my agents have come back and told me, is that all of these offers are pretty much the same percentage. They're packaging them different. They're presenting them different in terms of days that you can stay. But the idea here is that you can get pretty much the same percentage off of a stay. And as long as you can fit the criteria and meet the requirements and not be at the resorts that are blacked out, there's a little bit of savings there, but they're not that great. This to me feels more like, let's put something out there that makes it seem like there's a good deal going on when there really isn't. Discounts for most stays February 22nd through June 11th, book by the end of March. But if you try a little bit and you're willing to play with your dates in your resort, you might find a couple $100 savings off of a package, but don't expect this to be anything great. One interesting thing we did find out, though, is that most agents found that clients who had a PIN offer, or they were sent a PIN in the mail to get discounts off, that this price was actually better than the PIN, which we found kind of surprising because usually it's the other way around because the PIN promotions are targeted. So just be aware of that when you're looking for these discounts at Walt Disney World.
All right. Thank you, John. Kevin.
I have to talk about ABD's change in policy. ABD has recently changed their deposit policy and final payment policy. In the past, ABD required a $300 per person deposit to book an adventure. As of January 1st, they are now requiring 10% of your adventure fare. Also, their policy for final payment used to be 90 days prior to departure. It is now 120 days prior to departure for final payment. So in some cases, that deposit actually works out to be less than it used to be. If you're going on a Backstage Magic, your deposit has dropped. If you're going on a more expensive adventure, your deposit has gone up.
I will say, though, there's one clarification of that. We found somebody who had 4 people who were traveling, and their 10% worked out less than $300 per person on a more expensive adventure. So it's kind of really wishy-washy. It's, for the most part, it's more, but you might find the instance when it's less.
And also, I've gotten a great deal of inquiries about our China trip that we keep talking about. We are still in the planning stages. We do not have a contract or a firm price. I am still taking an interest list. This is going to be a very popular trip, and I will let everybody who has emailed me know as soon as I have the information. But it's not that we've forgotten about it, and it's not that that you've missed it. I just don't have the information to share right now, other than that this is still in the works.
I don't know if you mentioned this or not with the Adventures by Disney policy change. Did you mention that it's still non-refundable after 14 days?
I didn't, but the other policies haven't changed. Your deposit becomes non-refundable 14 days after you make the initial deposit.
So something to consider when you're paying 10% of the adventure.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Thank you, Kevin.
So we'll see how this works out for him.
Okay. Michael.
Well, sadly, we have a couple of deaths to report in the Disney community. It was just announced today by the Walt Disney Animation Research Library that Australian-born painter and muralist Frank Armitage passed away today. He was known for painting backgrounds of several classic Disney animated films. He designed areas and painting of murals for Walt Disney World and Tokyo Disney Sea. He also did visualization artwork in the biomedical field, which actually allowed him to contribute to one of the Epcot pavilions. He started working for the Walt Disney Family Museum. The Walt Disney Studios. One of his first projects was on Lady and the Tramp in 1955, and then he started to do backgrounds for Disney films such as Peter Pan, Sleeping Beauty, The Jungle Book. Those of you who are fans of the original Disneyland television series might remember the Man in Space series that really inspired a lot of the NASA space programs. He did the backgrounds for that series. He also did, he worked on anatomical, that's a hard word to say, figures for the Wonders of Life Pavilion in Epcot. He also did murals for the restaurants in Tokyo Disney Sea, and also in some of their hotels as well. And also, after he retired, he came to Walt Disney World and he created murals of camouflaged animals in the Pete Safari restaurant at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So, and another one who passed away was actually a Disney legend. If you went to the Disney Expo in D23 Expo in 2015, you saw Carson Van Austen receive his award. He passed away on December 22nd. He was most famous for doing the official portraits of Mickey Mouse for his 50th and 60th birthdays. He also designed a lot of the sort of the handbooks that the Disney animators continue to use today for all of the Disney characters. He also oversaw some of the commercial tie-ins for the Disney films, animated films. So he passed away. When he received his Disney Legend Award, he said that the happiest day of his life when he was hired full-time as a Disney comic strip artist, and receiving the Disney Legend Award was also one of his happiest days. And I went back through my notes that I took at the Disney Legend ceremony for, when he received it, and he said, that every time that he worked on Mickey Mouse, he realized he was always smiling. And so his style guides that he created for the Walt Disney Studios and his model packs are still going to continue to be used, on into the future by Walt Disney Animation.
And there is video of him accepting his award on the YouTube site if anybody wants to check that out too.
Yeah, he was very moving when he received that award.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Michael. Corey.
I'm going to go over a few rehabs. I'm not going to go over the whole list because I don't want to bore you. We have the whole list on the website. Over at Epcot, the reimagination of Maelstrom Frozen Ever After is rumored to open May 1st. Soarin closed yesterday. It's, they say, through summer 2016. Over at the Magic Kingdom, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin is going to be closed from January 18th to February 11th. The Riverboat will be closed from the 18th to the 22nd of February, and the Magic Carpets of Aladdin will be closed from January 25th through February 3rd. Over at Animal Kingdom, Kali River Rapids is closed through February 11th. The Jungle Trek will be closed through January 21st. And everybody knows over at Hollywood Studios, Pizza Planet is closing January 11th.
So you can say everything. Everything is closed.
Everything is closed, yeah.
Don't even bother going.
And set to reopen late 2016. They also permanently closed a bunch of meet and greets. Phineas and Ferb, Lightning McQueen, and Mater. Those meet and greets are permanently closed.
Do you think the Soarin one is to replace the movie?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what it is.
And updated technology.
Yeah.
I was on a tour of Epcot the other day, and they talked about it's a completely new film, all new technology, and they said it's reopening in May 2016.
Okay, so
We'll
it's not
see
going to be
what
down for too
happens.
long. Cool. All right.
Cool.
Thank you, Corey. Rhino.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's fine, Kevin. So mine's about an update on Star Wars at the box office, and as Kevin said, it's under 20 million actually, away from overtaking
It's
the.
surprising.
This is entirely new news.
We're talking for domestic.
Yeah,
We're not talking international.
No. So domestically, it as of Monday afternoon, it was 18 million away. So the prediction is by today, this evening, or tomorrow, it'll overtake and be the number one highest grossing domestic film of all time. Right now, it's at number 4 in the box office of all time, not accounting for inflation. I think it's up to like $1.5 billion, just over $1.5 billion. So, but what's interesting to note is that, and some people are like, oh, it's not. It's only taken 20 days to get to where it is. It took Avatar 47 days to get here. So that's 20 days versus 47 days, and it really hasn't shown too much. It showed a little bit signs of slowing down yesterday because it's the end of the holiday season and kids and parents and everybody are back to work, but it had the highest grossing New Year's box office weekend this last weekend. So
the other thing that's crazy about this is if you look at a theater, there's like Star Wars and one other movie playing at the 22-seat theater.
You can actually go like 24 hours a day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's no surprise it's so popular because it's a popular movie, but I think the added screens really helps that as well.
I mean, and if you haven't seen it yet, it really is fantastic. What blows me away is the people who I am so surprised that I would have said never in a million years would have seen this, have seen it and seen it more than once and like enjoyed it. So it's a very, very cool situation. So I can't casually do this.
What is that? You have a spasm? What's going on?
No, I was asking him to get Craig's attention.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because Craig was like buried deep in a text or something.
Reach that far.
No, my rapid fire.
Oh, okay.
He's writing his resume.
Yeah.
Updating it.
Glitchy producer for hire.
All right. Thank you, Rhino. Steve.
Corey touched on this, but as of yesterday, Soarin is officially down. I will just add a little bit more detail. They're not just down for a regular revamp of cleaning it up or painting new paint. It's going to be Soarin around the world. So they're adding another theater. So hopefully the line wait times will go down. And they're going to have, I think it's going over the Great Wall of China and the African savannah. So I think it's going to be really cool. But that's it.
Awesome.
So I have a little bit of information, a little bit of trivia. We learned on one of our Backstage Magics that they have to pay for every time they do a shot in that movie. And the most expensive airspace they had to rent was over Walt Disney World.
I heard that.
And I heard the problems getting clearance to do it was the Disney parks.
Exactly.
Their own thing.
Their own thing, yeah. Just
it's not that interesting. Sorry.
No, it really very interesting. I was riveted.
You got the three pat. Yeah.
I was riveted. All right, thank you, Steve. Craig.
Okay, starting January 21st, guests will be able to see an extended preview of Walt Disney Animation's newest film, Zootopia, at One Man's Dream in the theater if you're at Hollywood Studios, and if you're over in Disneyland, you'll be able to see it at the Bugs Life Theater. At least here at Walt Disney World, it's going to run all the way until, I believe, March 6th, because the movie comes out on March 4th, and then it'll go back to normal One Man's Dream.
We saw the previews when I went to see that Star Wars thing.
That looks great.
It looks funny.
That DMV scene, I was dying. I almost spit out my beer.
That was great.
Beer?
No, at the first time I saw it with the Good Dinosaur.
Oh, I thought you had
that theater sold beer.
They also showed A Day in the Life of Pets or something like that. That preview looked funny. I'm looking forward to that. I know that's not Disney and has nothing to do with us, but it still looked good.
It has to do with Universal, Secret Life of Pets.
All of the other previews they showed destroyed bridges and the end of the world. So I thought these two looked light and lively.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Craig. That'll do it for Rapid Fire. A couple more things that I want to just talk about at the end of our show. First, toward the end of last year, I decided to stop doing the top 10 threads by analytics on disboards.com because so many of them were negative, and we just started doing top 10 best trip planning threads. But I said I would still give out the prizes for most popular threads of the year. And as we've been doing for a couple of years now, we give a $250 gift card to the number 2 thread and a $500 gift card to the number 1 thread on disboards. So here they are. Coming in at number 2 for 2015 was our good friend Mesa Boy 2 and his FastPass Plus basic info and strategies. This has been the venerable thread. I believe it won last year as the number 1 thread, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh, well, I think that's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive.
It's still the number, and it wasn't off by much. But this year, the most popular thread on the boards, and this is by page views. This is what I do is I go in analytics, I take a look at the page views for the year, and see what threads come up as number 1. The number 1 thread was the confirmed snack thread on the Disney Dining Plan subforum under restaurants. And that makes me very happy that our top 2 threads are just like really good informational threads. And
What's a confirmed snack?
What snacks are going to be available on the dining plan. So as they find out what's confirmed to be on the dining plan, when people are in the park saying, yes, you can get this snack on the dining plan, and that they put it on the thread and they keep an ongoing list. And that is by Disney Daz. So Disney Daz, you'll be getting a $500 gift card courtesy of the Diz Unplugged and Dreams Unlimited Travel. And Mesa Boy 2, you have a $250 gift card that we're going to be sending to you as well for starting such great threads. So there's that. Top 2 threads of 2015. But before we close, I wanted to ask everybody, what is it, since this is our first show of the new year, what is it you are looking forward to the most this year in the world of
Disney
or
Go that
Universal
way.
or
Start that way.
I'll go. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm looking forward to Frozen Ever After opening up. I know it was a big thing with Maelstrom closing, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with it because I love the World Showcase, but there's not a lot I can do with my kids. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how Disney Springs evolves even more because I think they're on the right track, and I can't wait to go spend some more time there. What else? I'll come up with more. You go next.
Michael, what are you looking forward to this year?
Well, surprisingly, one of the things I'm looking forward to is at Universal Studios Hollywood. After going to Dispalooza and loving Universal Studios Orlando, I was so impressed with its theming and detail and the quality of the attractions, quality of the cast members, especially at Cabana Bay Beach Resort, which is what Pop Century should have been.
This is high praise, people.
Yeah,
This is Cabana Bay.
High praise coming from Michael Bolin.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our Harry Potterville, our Wizarding World opening at.
I just want you to know, Rhino just plots. Did you hear us?
It's a wonderful life.
I was just going to say, it's a combination of Harry Potter and It's a Wonderful Life.
The Easy Bake Oven just popped open.
I was just going to say, somebody get him a fan.
I'm really looking forward to that opening and seeing, a shiny and new Hogwarts. And we're getting the Japanese version. So we're getting the
It's gonna be hard to
3D
understand.
version.
It is.
It's going to be hard to understand.
And it's all going to be anime.
Harry Potter's got big eyes.
Yeah. And I guess in terms of the Disneyland, it's going to be fascinating to see how people react to so much of Frontierland and everything being boarded up. And as we lose part of Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America. But I'm looking forward to seeing how they follow up Aladdin with Frozen the musical. And that I guess we will have Frozen in 3 different venues. So if you have a lapse of memory walking across the street at California Adventure, you can refresh yourself, or walking across the Esplanade, since we'll be showing 2 versions of it.
Oh, wow.
One at Disneyland and Princess Fantasy Fair, and then the one at the Hyperion Theater at California Adventure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Let's shoot over to you, Rhino.
Oh, I don't know. I want to see where Star Wars goes. There's another Star Wars movie coming out in December. I'm very excited for that. I know that's not in the theme park, but I'm kind of interested to see if they pull that in there somehow, or how that's going to get incorporated into the storytelling. I'm excited to get into some more dining locations this year, because I know that's what part of our new assignments that are coming up. So I look forward to that. I don't know. Hopefully, California at some point, whether through Diz or my own or something like that. I really loved the opportunity out there last year, and I think I'm hooked. So I look forward to taking a trip out there and see what's new out there and stuff. So that's all I can think of on the spot right now.
All right. How about you, Steve?
With Universal's buying up that land, I'm excited to see what happens with the rumors about them maybe creating another park, and if any more details come out on that. And then if Disney responds, I think we're on the verge of something awesome.
Park Wars.
Yeah.
If anything more details about that come out this year, I'm excited for that. And then just for me personally, I'm excited to go to the parks and have fun. I don't know.
Finish puberty.
Now apparently I'm also Skippy now. I'm Junior, and on the comments they're calling me Skippy. So.
I'm looking forward to seeing what new nicknames you get this year. Then.
They're piling up.
Me too.
Said like a true Ethel Merman impersonator right now. All right, Steve, thanks. Craig?
I'm just excited to see what ends up happening in 2016, especially with the Diz, because our lives are never boring here. It might be calm for a couple days, and
Days.
like this past year.
Well, a lot has changed. A lot is changing right now. So
Well, calm in a general sense, because last year I was just at home doing a little editing, and then you called me up and said, "Rush, I need to know in the next hour or two if you're able to go to Central Europe." And then look where that led me, and going to Disneyland so many times, and I didn't even think that I was going to go once last year, and then as many times as we went out, and just lots of crazy stuff always happens with the Diz, and so I'm sure 2016 won't be much different either, too, which is very exciting to always think about where we'll go next in life.
Stop.
all right, thank you, Craig. Kevin, what about you?
Are you
I'm
crying?
looking forward to the Edison. The Edison restaurant,
The restaurant?
downtown. Yeah, I think that sounds cool. And from the things I've read about the LA restaurant, I'm really looking forward to it being here. It's kind of,
Is that opening this year?
I believe so. They just put out plans for it, and then there's a place next to it that there's been some discrepancy on what it's going to be, and I think they're calling it the Disney Tunnel.
Oh.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that's going to be.
The thing is, going to be underground bars and
Yeah.
places to hang out.
That the plans have already been planned for that, but no one will say what it is. So I also am interested in Disney Springs being finished, or more finished.
Yeah.
I miss downtown Disney. I miss being able to park and walk around. I have found it way too big a hassle to do that right now. I haven't been over to the marketplace
Yeah,
in a year.
me too.
Because it's planes, trains, and automobiles to get there. And I'm not going to a Disney resort and taking a bus. And walking, it's just, you have to, I'm just interested in being done.
Right.
So, personally, I'm looking forward to our Italy trip, our ABD Italy trip next summer. The end of the summer, we're going to northern Italy and Switzerland. And as Craig said, you never know where we're going to end up. You
Yeah.
never know what we're going to do. So,
All right, thank you, Kevin. John?
The reason why I wanted to go that way is I couldn't pick just one. We've got some great trips planned this year. We've got Alani. We have Italy, like you mentioned, and then we've got Podcast Cruise 6. So there's always some really cool stuff. I think what I'm looking forward to is seeing what happens. There's always this idea that we're going to do things and then things change. And I think they turn out better than what we planned.
Always.
So I'm always excited to see where we wind up, and we can look back at the year and go, can you believe we got to do that?
Yeah.
Or an opportunity to make that happen. So that's really cool too. From a Disney perspective, I agree with Kevin. I want to see Disney Springs done. Just finish it, because I want to go there and enjoy it.
we used to go and just hang out.
Yeah.
It was, what do you want to do? Let's go walk around downtown Disney. And we have stopped doing that.
Right. All right. Thank you, John. Well, for me, I'm certainly looking forward to all the changes and additions that are coming to Disney World this year. I am increasingly very happy with Disney Springs. Every time I go down there, I find something else. I find a store that I just kind of lose my mind in, and I find myself excited for opportunities to go down there. I'm excited about some of the things coming to the theme park. I'm very excited to see a change to Soarin. It's one of my all-time favorite rides, so I'm excited for stuff like that. But what I am most excited about, I think, is that I have made some significant changes to how we work on this side of the house, where the Diz team is concerned. We're utilizing the studio a lot more. We have a lot of plans for things that we want to do here in the studio, but probably one of the most significant changes that I've made in the 18 years that I've been running the Diz. And I know I'm about to make a lot of people jealous when I say this, but I am now mandating for all our full-time staff 2 days a week in the parks. They have to, and they're assigned days that they have to be in the parks, myself included. So I'm really looking forward to being in the parks more. I'm looking forward to having that experience. A lot of times, one of the reasons I did that was I found myself saying, I can't get to the parks because I have so much work to do. And it's true. But in fact, that's got to be a part of our job. I've got to be in there. I've got to see what's going on. This isn't to go and ride rides. This is to go and check it out and do what we do, to make the content that we put out both here on our show and on our site as good as I can get it. And so I'm really looking forward to having that experience, being in the parks on a regular basis and being more in touch with that. And just, on a personal level, my whole life seems to be changing all in good, great ways. I mean, incredible ways. So I'm kind of excited to see where that takes me and where that goes. But we do have a lot of things we're working on. Right now I'm working on our next plan for Disneyland for this year, and I'm very excited about where the conversation's going with that. We are going to do a fresh take on our 7 and 7 series this year here in Orlando, and I'm very excited about that. Not ready to announce any details or dates. Couple other, we're batting around the ideas for a new show, batting around a lot of ideas for some new videos that we want to start producing, different ways of shooting our videos. I mean, the ideas are just flowing like crazy. It's been a very collaborative environment over the last few months, especially with us all just kind of pitching ideas and working off of each other. When you have a great team of smart people, that's what happens. So one of the reasons I'm very, very blessed. And to get to do this, I am so glad to be back doing the show again. I hate the hate. I have a love-hate relationship with our hiatus. It's great to take a few weeks off, but then after a certain amount of time, I'm like, come on, I want to do the show.
However, look how excited we all are.
I know, exactly.
Except for Craig.
Well, Craig's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I pushed him to the limit the last couple of days. So,
but I mean, we get new energy. We get excited after
exactly.
hiatus. So.
I need that rest.
I think that's it. I think that's it for me. I have an outlook and an energy and an optimism right now that I haven't had for a while, and it just feels good. And I'm excited to keep going. I'm excited to see
However,
where
when
it
we're on
goes.
hiatus, it's like someone put an extra day in your week.
Yes, it is. Exactly.
It's like, oh, look, we have another day.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back with you again next Tuesday with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everyone. And remember, stay out of the damn lakes. Happy New Year, folks. I'm back. I'm gone. I'm back.